Hello, so I did a build in The Sims 4 and I wanted to share it with you. So I'm finally getting around to doing a Mediterranean inspired build, sort of inspired by the new My Wedding Stories pack. And I know I'm late to the game because we just had a new kit announced, so the Sims is already moving on to the next thing. Though I know for those of you who do gameplay, you're still waiting on some fixes with My Wedding Stories, and hopefully that comes very soon. But I am so in love with this new world, and I do like the new build and buy items. I can't see myself using them much. In fact, I think I used maybe 2 different items in this build, so um, didn't use it a lot. But this world is, I mean, easily the most beautiful world we have. So I if you can't tell from the blue and white build, I'm going for a more Greek inspired build that is, of course, inspired by Mamma Mia. I wanted to build something that I guess I thought could sort of live in that world, because I just love that musical so much, and the movie is amazing too. Um, so I am pretty happy with how it turned out. I think it definitely looks like it could fit into the world of Mamma Mia. And you'll see in the interior, I definitely did like a cluttered, sort of really lived in interior that I think works really well with this style. So I went ahead and started the landscaping. And one of the reasons it took me so long to finally finish a build for this pack is just because I got a little overwhelmed with the landscaping. I wasn't sure at all what to do, just because when I was looking at reference images of different Greek houses and villas, all of them were just squished up against one another, and there wasn't really much landscaping at all. But of course, on this lot, there was plenty of room to do some landscaping, so I wanted to make it kind of freeform and pretty, like, I guess, natural, but sort of like it was upkept and have lots of flowers and color. And I think I was able to achieve that pretty well. And I do go in off camera and put in the terrain paint, if you're wondering, and I make a few adjustments here and there, just to make it look a little bit nicer. So I went ahead and filled in that lower deck area, and I think it looks really nice and comfortable. I wanted to make it look like a space where your Sims could just hang out and enjoy the beautiful views. Um, that's one thing. This is kind of random, but one thing about voiceovers is I'm always trying to think of what I'm going to say next. So sometimes I find myself having a hard time with what to say next and pausing for a weird amount of time. So hopefully it's not too distracting and I'm still getting used to it. I'm definitely trying to have a little bit of a better sound. I got a really helpful comment to try and have the mic as close to my mouth as possible. And that, I think, has made a pretty big difference. So thank you so much for that advice. But as you can see, we're already into the interior, and I wanted to try and theme this room after the room that they perform Mamma Mia in. I wanted it to look like someone who travels, who isn't too bothered by lots of clutter. And I also just imagine this person would read a lot, so you can see I use a lot of stacks of books. And I'm so happy with how this turned out. And one thing that I liked about this build is I used a lot of items that I don't normally use, and even down to wall colors and flooring. So like this tile in the bathroom, I just absolutely loved. And I think it's from base game. It's so beautiful, and I don't think I've ever used it. So I was really happy to try out a little something different. So here I am getting the layout and starting on the living room of the bottom floor. And you can see the layout is a little off, in that the living room is maybe a little squished and the kitchen is pretty large, but I wanted to have this build have just a really massive kitchen. I just thought the person who would live here would love to cook, and want to take up a lot of space for this kitchen. And I had this image in my mind. I wanted to have a really cluttered kitchen with open shelving and a bunch of pots and pans hanging from the wall. And I definitely was able to get that clutter in very, very well. So you can see I pulled out all the different clutter items because, oh my gosh, it took me so long to find everything. But I think it all works so nicely together. And I love a cluttered kitchen. I love a cluttered shelf. And as you can see, I'm relying pretty heavily on the Country Kitchen kit. So if you don't have that, unfortunately, this kitchen isn't going to be super usable. But hopefully most of you have that, and you're able to enjoy this kitchen because I think it's pretty amazing, and I'm so, so happy with how it turned out. So I'm just finishing up some cluttering, and I wanted there to be a little bit of life, so I added in that plant from Bloomin' Rooms, the plant curtain, I guess. And I'm actually almost at the end of the build. So thank you so much for watching. You can download this on the gallery. My origin ID is SimmeredJess. Have a great day. Bye.